out in the heat where the red sun burns. Stories rise and the tables turn. Tailgates roaring, stories flow. Every fan's got a tale to show. RedSea Brothers bringing the pride. Unite the fans on this wild ride. Trading cards, yeah, your story stays. Arizona strong in a million ways. Grill smoke rising, chants so loud. Superfans stand tall and proud. From the lot to the field they roll. Heart and soul, that's the goal. RedSea Brothers bringing the pride.
When you talk about true dedication, one name soars above the rest. Jay Hastings, the 2024 Arizona Cardinals Fan of the Year. This Navy veteran, family man, and 20-year season ticket holder bleeds Cardinal red. At State Farm Stadium, Jay runs one of the biggest, most welcoming tailgates in the desert, where every fan, home or away, is treated like family. But it's more than food and fun. Jay and his crew give back every game, collecting donations and spreading love through charity and community. And when the Cardinals hit the road, Jay's right there, flying the RedSea flag across the nation. He's more than a fan. He's a leader, a legend, and the heartbeat of Bird Gang Nation. Let's welcome the one and only Jay Hastings, your 2024 Fan of the Year.
First question of the day: how did your Arizona Cardinals fandom begin?
Yeah, it's a long story. It's a really long story, but I've had 23 years of season tickets. Since I moved back after going to college, coming back from New Orleans. I lived in New Orleans for a year after college. First thing I wanted to do was get season tickets when I got back. Went to high school at Deer Valley, loved the Cardinals, growing up and everything. But first thing I did, got season tickets, went down to Sun Devil Stadium, sat in section 4, when it was like still old Sun Devil, and you had just built the lake and it was humid and it was terrible, and they had to kick it off at 1:00. So you're like, there was some strong fans back there. You should have won some awards back there if you were sitting in Sun Devil back in like the early 2000s. There was nobody there, hot, humid. It was pretty terrible. But fandom overall, it's kind of one of those things. I was talking to the Cardinals about this end of last year when they were finishing up the Fan of the Year stuff. Is Cardinal fans are kind of a rare breed. A lot of transplants in the Valley, a lot of people that root for other teams. So you got to put up with a lot of stuff to be a Cardinals fan. You got to put up with a lot of fans coming in, who've been handed down by their family, all that stuff. And really, it's you see kind of the same crew all the time. All of us are pretty good, friends and everything like that. And you kind of stick through, like they show on the new ads with the desert and everything. You kind of stick through all that stuff. You deal with it all. And it's really a tight-knit group that I think we all have a really good time. But for me personally, it's one of those things where you're not real worried about if you're going to win or lose after all these years. You enjoy the process. You enjoy the start of the season. You enjoy part of, hey, the development, what are the players going to do? How's the coaching going to work out? How are the games going to go? You go through all that stuff, and it really makes me think like I'm a little kid again. Like every game, I'm like a little kid. You walk in there, have a blast, sit on the edge of your seat, cardiac cards. You're worried about if you're going to win, It's always going to come down to the last thing, just like last week, just like the Carolina game. It's going to come down to the last second. We're going to do something crazy, and it's always like that.
Yo, Bird Gang, you already know the RedSea Brothers don't just rep the Cardinals. We collect them, too. Every weekend, we're live on RSB Pulls over on Whatnot, bringing that same passion to the card table. Fire pulls, rookie chases, and tons of Arizona Cardinals cards ready for the flock. Whether you're a diehard fan or just getting started, jump in and grab your first $15 for free. Just hit the link whatnot.com, invite RSB Pulls, or scan the QR code on screen. Join the stream, rep your team, and let's build that Bird Gang card collection together. back to the interview.
Always. And it's been like that for years. So, I mean, that's how they got the name Cardiac Cards, you know? I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
That's exactly how it happened. All right, I'm going to rip off the second question here. And
Okay.
tell us about your look. Tell us about your look and any special unique items that you must be worn or carried during game day.
Yeah. That's a great question. Part of that fandom and the 23 years, the last 15, we've been doing KNP tailgate, and I know we're going to talk about that a little later, but part of that is kind of also part of the look. It's kind of the fit that you get. So, of course, everybody knows the show Sons of Anarchy. We kind of had the idea of like, well, what if we had like a cut? Like we had something that was unique, that we custom made, that somebody made. So a lot of people are familiar with Dustin. He dressed up as Kid Rock. He kind of used to sit in the end zone, had the hair going, everything. Dustin, myself, and one of my best friends, Mark, we kind of started the tailgate. And we thought, okay, when we get into this stuff, what is something we need to have something a little bit unique? I don't want to do all the patches. I know other people like to keep the patches and everything. It's more of like simple, unique, and that's what we're going to do. So the jackets, this is kind of the first part of it. And the jackets, there's only the handful of people in the tailgate that have them. Each one has a label, like mine for president. Each one has what your role is. We got a security guy. That's kind of funny, but we got like a security guy. We got all these different roles.
That's awesome.
But when you get through it, some of the stuff in the fit, like, so the beads started in New Orleans. We went years ago, like 2013. We ran into Arnold Schwarzenegger on the trip, Margot Robbie. It was a wild trip. It was crazy. But when these beads started, one of the things that happened was the next year was this bead right here. And I can kind of see it on my screen, but it looks like nothing. It looks like a nothing bead. I got this game walking into the stadium in Seattle when we lost 58-0.
Oh, no.
This is the first bead I always put on every year. So as the year goes, these beads start adding up. So the first bead I always put on is this one. Each one has meaning. This bead was, again, in New Orleans, an elevator fight that I had with my buddy. And so one of these broke off, and he bought me another chain, and we added it on. So this was the New Orleans trip. And then we got stuff from the Super Bowl from last year, stuff like that. So you got to have like the relics of what like your lessons learned, like through all the beads.
Yeah.
One of the things I got that's pretty cool, I wear them for most games, is these little guys. So I got Larry Fitzgerald's gloves years ago.
Oh,
so these are game worn gloves from Fitz. One says Fitz, one says Faith Focus Finish, like Triple F. I wear those. I got that, actually, my buddy Mark, the same co-founder, he was good friends with Darnell Dockett. And Dockett actually traded him the gloves for some shoes. Kind of a weird story, but I got the gloves for some shoes. Cool. And then he's my good friend. So he hooked me up later. I think I paid a small fortune for him, but I've had him for probably 12 years. So each piece of it's a little bit awesome. I don't have my armbands on, the USA armbands. Sometimes you do a little face paint. Used to have the graphic where I'm flexing with the face paint and all that stuff. But I'm getting old now. Can't be rocking, too much crazy stuff, closing in on 50 years old. So.
Right. I got you, man. I mean, I'm not closing 50, but getting close there. I'm a young 40.
Yeah, 46 now, 46, but I'm just going to keep saying 50. That way I feel younger.
You're midway. You're not there yet. You're midway. So, hey, man, this is the biggest question. I mean, it's on the top of everyone's mind. We sit there and watch him. He has a new podcast. He's not the biggest, tallest, I guess you could say, quarterback in the league. Is this Kyler Murray's last year? I mean, or do you think he's going to answer the call? And if not, if you don't think he's going to, who would you like to, man? You want to get someone else in here?
Yeah, you're right. I think that's the question. If you look on social or whatever, like that's the question everybody talks about. They talk about Kyler, and if you go back to Josh Rosen, not to bring it back that far, but like that season when he played, we actually did one of our tailgate away games where we rented out this house in Green Bay. And we put our tailgate thing over the side. We had a couple hundred people. It was crazy. You looked right across the Lambeau. Josh Rosen does his crazy run. We beat Green Bay. It snowed it was wild. It was crazy. It was out of control. So in my mind, I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe there's something in there with Josh. He went into this environment, things like that. When we rolled around to the draft, we got to that first pick, and I was kind of thinking Bosa. I was thinking maybe we go a little defense and we load up and we're going to keep with Josh. When we took Kyler, though, and you could see how explosive he was. You could see rookie of the year. You could see two-time Pro Bowl, and then 2021, winning all those games in a row. AJ Green not knowing how to run a route, and then all of a sudden we make the playoffs. And that meltdown. I was in the end zone in the Rams thing, watching. We went to the playoffs game and everything. Did a little tailgate out there. So if you wrap all that conversation into your question, I look at it as like, the dude is talented. He won the Heisman. He never lost a game in high school in Texas, which is like impossible if you're playing Texas football. He has talent. He top 10 pick baseball and football. He has talent off the charts, but I don't know that he's ever pulled like the talent to go take people's feedback and tell him, hey, Kyler, you got to work on something. He always seems to have an answer like, I know how to fix it. And so I'm worried. I don't know that he's going to keep getting better. In the Carolina game just last week, go back to the Carolina game. Really good game. It was an amazing run. We're up 27-9. We're about to put this thing to bed. Amazing run. We're down. I rewatched the game a couple times on NFL Plus. We're on the 13-yard line. You can't throw that interception. You can't throw that interception. Once he threw that interception, yeah, our defense tried to play prevent defense and everything, but like the momentum, you could feel it. You could feel like you cannot, like that's the Kyler Murray experience is great game, 27-9. Even if you kick the field goal 30-9, just like the number game sounds bad, like 30-9. Instead, 27-9, bad interception, 3 and out. So I think Kyler Murray, if that's the experience you get, if that's how it happens the rest of the year and we don't make the playoffs, you have to make a change. And it's not because he may go to another team and all of a sudden something clicks, maybe, but in year 7, if that's what you're getting, if you win 7-8 games, don't make the playoffs, you got to make a change.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
We agree wholeheartedly, and that's why we ask those questions, because we want to see where everybody else is with that. So, I
mean, to your point, though, there's some people we could win a bunch of games, maybe even make the playoffs. And I have friends in the tailgate, some of our main members, they hate them. They can't stand them because of this experience. They hate those turnovers. They hate the bad mistakes. So, even with winning, there's a lot of people that still want to make a change. So it's a weird conversation, as you guys know, all the people we probably talk to. I mean, it's a weird conversation
for sure. And I mean, I'm a K1 since day one kind of guy. So I mean, I believe in the kid and everything, but I hear the bad and I hear the negative coming out of it, and it understandable, It's football. Yeah. That's football.
I love them. I think like I said, my wife's from Texas. Texas football is hard to win. The fact that he could pull all that off, and he's probably the most talented player to ever come out, but he hasn't grown. You have to grow. You have to keep going.
Yeah. It's got to be consistent.
Yeah,
and that's the real part about it. So, talking about these young guys and stuff. Speaking about our rookies right now, did our rookies pan out last season? Like Marv, Benson, how do you feel about that? Melton and the guys before that during this new regime?
Yeah, that's so Marvin Harrison, I mean, anybody that scores 8 touchdowns in a season as a rookie, that's pretty good. Whatever it was, 66, 68 catches, somewhere in there, whatever the catches were. That is more, to me, a product of what I think all of us have kind of been percolating about too, is this Drew Petzing offense and what are we doing? It's kind of like this, if we get a lead, we kind of slow down, we try to hold on, and we even were doing it last year. We're talented enough to get a few first downs and just bleed clocks out. It's almost like you're running and you're playing Madden. It's the same way I play in Madden. If I get a lead, I can run the ball, 3 yards cloud of dust with James or Trey Benson and just keep pounding it, get a couple first downs and bleed out the clock. But there's too much time and too much talent in the NFL. And so the ability for Petzing to get the guys involved more, he's got to figure out a way. I think they're showing the average amount of targets he's getting. Last year was 6.2, and now he's down to 5.8. That can't happen. They've got Malik Neighbors is getting 11.8 targets a game. That's why you're going to have some difference. I'm not saying he's going to turn into what Neighbors' numbers are, but so Marv, I'm not too worried about. I think the talent's there. Trey Benson, I definitely think the talent's there. I don't think we figured out how to use him. I don't think we figured out how to get him out in the flat, do whatever the crossing routes, little slants. Yeah. And then the corners, I actually think our corners are a lot better than people give credit for. I think the defense with Rallis, he plays the same thing. We get a lead, he turns it into these shells and zones. So it's real hard for me to go blame the corners when they're supposed to be guarding zone coverage and everything. We have some pretty good man covers, and we just lost our best like multiple threat zone cover guy for a little bit of time. But
Yep.
without Garrett Williams, a lot of these guys are man guys. Denzel Burke last game played really well when we're talking about young guys. Like for
He
a
sure
guy that's
did.
just come in a rookie, he had some bad preseason, but last game, if you watching the tape, he actually made some really good man-to-man plays. So
Yeah. No, I agree wholeheartedly on all those fronts. Jay, since being a fan for the time that you went, who's your all-time favorite Cardinal player, and who's your favorite player right now on the current roster? So who's your all-time favorite if you have a one that's ever been, and then one who's currently right now?
yeah, so I'm a big collector of autographs. I love getting autographs, and as I've gotten older, I try to not be. Well, I don't. I'm not the weirdo that's like up in front, like give me the autograph. That's more for the kids, so I let
Yep.
them do that. I do mostly charities or stuff like that to go get autographs. But number one, which is number one for a lot of like who I got the autograph was really hard to get. Think about all the time is Pat Tillman. I've got the ball right over here. Got Pat Tillman's autograph.
Oh.
From a who's my all-time, I respect the decisions, who the person was, is a Pat Tillman. From a who the player was and just everything is Larry Fitzgerald. And it's for a reason. It's because the professionalism, the dedication, just the way he went about his business and the longevity, Hall of Famer. Like I think next year he'll be in the Hall of Fame and get selected. So I'm hopeful that all the Cardinal fans travel out to Ohio and we just like take over the whole town because
That'd be sick.
I'm guessing it'll be him and Drew Brees, and I'm not sure who the third will be, but like Larry for sure. The way he went about everything, I really, really respected. Now, there's some other players that I really enjoyed, especially during that kind of run to the Super Bowl stuff. Adrian Wilson was one of my favorite players, during those years. Darnell Dockett was one of my favorite players. I loved Anquan Bolden. I actually got a ball over here. Short story on that is training camp '07 Flagstaff. They used to have it up there, right there on the NAU campus. And back then, nobody went to it. We didn't make the Super Bowl yet, so nobody's at the practices. I was sitting on a blanket with my newborn son and my wife were like next to the field. I'm hoping to get an autograph. I got a helmet in my hand. I'm like, oh, I hope I get an autograph. I'm still '07. I guess I was about 30, but whatever it was. But like I'm sitting there with the helmet. This golf cart backs up. Everybody's left. This golf cart's backs up. On the back of the golf cart is Anquan Bolden.
Nice.
And I'm like, no way. So Anquan signs the helmet. I look in the front seat because he's got like somebody driving. It's Larry Fitzgerald. So I'm like, oh, Larry, you got to sign too. So I got a helmet signed by Anquan and Larry back in '07. So Anquan was always one of my favorites. I hated how it ended with the trade. I thought fifth rounder or whatever the hell we traded to Baltimore for. Like these things that we made some of these deals, whatever. But like those years of the Wilson, the Dockett, the Bolden, and then you get to current day, it goes back to like the same thing. Who do I respect and think has the heart and like professionalism? It's Buda Baker. Like right now, Buda Baker.
Another one for Buda.
Plays that way. I think Trey McBride's making his way up our chart. Like my son loves Trey McBride. My other son's at U of A now, so he doesn't hang out with us. But Trey McBride's making his way up the charts of I think what everybody likes. We got a buddy from London that comes down for games when he tailgates. He lets the London guy like stay with him. Like he's my buddy Jack like stays with Trey McBride when he comes. Like that's how cool Trey McBride is. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Dude, Trey's awesome, man. I love that kid, and I was so happy that I don't know. I like Zach Ertz. I'm a fantasy player, but man, it just didn't pan out that Ertz Watts JJ Watt era. Just blah. And so I was glad that Ertz got out of the way, and that actually made McBride kind of rise out of this ashes. And you're just like, who is this? Wow, and he was just amazing. And he's like, all right, you're home, buddy. This is it.
Yeah. Kimes' last hurrah. That was a good pick. Like that was Kimes' last, and that was the Hollywood Brown thing. He traded our first rounder for Hollywood Brown, and then he lucks out and grabs Trey McBride. So it's,
great pickup. Yep. Yeah, we're lucky for that. All right, I'm going with the last question here. Do you have a message for the Bird Gang, and would you like to mention any of the charities that you're a part of?
Yeah, thanks. I get the question all the time since there's been, since 2020, there's been 5 fans of the year. The fan of the year thing is a little bit weird in that you do this video, you send it to the Cardinals. The process is a little strange, all those things. And, a lot of people ask the question of like either how'd you get it or, what should I do? Or can I get can you vote for me kind of thing and all that. And I would love to vote for everybody. I certainly would. The process is really funky. They pick one video. They don't care if somebody submits 100 videos for somebody, 1,000 videos for somebody. They pick one. And the NFL screens it. Captain Morgan screens it. Then they send back their top people to like the top 3 or 4 to like Michael Bidwell to like pick. So it's a very, very weird process. But I say all that to say, like, what the number one thing is I tell people, and if, anybody that's listening to hopefully that hears what I'm saying is the best thing I can say is just be yourself. Don't try to be like some like huge, made up character or something that feels real, like inauthentic, and you're like high-fiving people or trying to get on camera. Like, that's not going to win you fan of the year. It has to do with they want, at least for the Cardinals. Every team's different, but at least for the Cardinals, it's who's just being themselves, that does stuff with charity or is like a good person, hangs out, donates, does those things. So and I think, and I say all that to say, I think 99% of all our fans, that's what they're doing. That I'm not saying that people aren't doing that. It's just, I think some people feel that like urge to like do something different, be somebody different. And I would just say, be yourself. And from a charity standpoint and from, like the things we do, one of the things I did want to mention is, a lot of the times when we're running the tailgate, people always ask, well, do I have to pay? And our tailgate's completely free. It's always been free. And that's because we were going to tailgate anyway. And so if Cardinal fans want to come hang out, let us know how many are coming and I'll buy a few extra cheeseburgers. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, and we get people pitching in. So it's always free. There's never a cost. And same as anything, just to let people know when we go on away games, we're not a business, we're not for profit, but we let everybody know. We put out there, hey, here's where we're going to go. There's certainly travel groups that have great deals and things that you can get involved with. They had some really cool stuff in New Orleans. But if you want to do something on your own budget, free, we always have that option of just whatever the tailgate's doing, just see where we're lining up, and that way you can hang out with some Cards fans. So put that out there just to say there's a couple of options for people to try. I know costs are like crazy right now. So if any way we can help with people like, not having to spend a huge amount, we try to see if we can find a way. For charities this year, it's going to be the same as last year. Every tailgate, we donate 100%. Everything goes to charities. Our top charities are the local ones that everybody loves here in Phoenix, Phoenix Children's Hospital, St. Vincent de Paul, Phoenix Rescue Mission, all of the big ones you can think of. Each game is a different one. And we'll do the same thing this year. Last year, we got up around $5,500. So we're hoping to get probably in that ballpark again, donate it all. And it should be a really good year. First game, we got close to, with a couple extra donations at the end, around $550. So all the PCH for game one. So, Carolina, we got 125 people at the tailgate. It's always a good time. I'm sure Seattle on Thursday. Seattle's always a huge game. We'll probably get a couple hundred, even though it's a Thursday afternoon, which is weird. But we'll be looking out for people. Anybody that wants to come, we're over in F Green Lot. We're always open anytime you want to come by.
All right. Okay. Well, you heard that, Bird Gang. And to piggyback off of that, we're actually going to go ahead and show you how to go ahead and go about, because don't forget, Bird Gang, you got to think about KMP as one of the biggest tailgates out there that we have. And you got to think about, they put into production, and we're going to actually go there. We're going to film and show the production side of it, because they got 15, 20 tents that you guys put up?
Yeah, we can, depending on how many of my buddies make it out in time, it can get up to 20 tents.
Yeah, so that's huge. You got to think about that, Bird Gang. 20 tents, the food, the amount of things that they put there. So they want to know the number. So this is the best way. You're going to go on to Tail Greeter. I'm going to go ahead and show you right now. We're going to share the screen. I have it set up here. So let me go ahead. I'm going to click share screen. All right. So there it is. We're going to go to Tail Greeter. And I think I already clicked on that game. Yep, I clicked on the game. I can actually back up here so you guys can kind of see there. So when you get on here, you're going to pick your game, okay? And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go click on here. Once we go there, we're going to come down over here. And you're going to have how many people? It's just going to be Chris and I for now. We're going to agree to their terms and conditions. And you guys can pull that up and read it. And then we're just going to hit book our spot. And there we go.
Yep.
And then we'll hit proceed to checkout, and then we'll see you there. That just gives them the numbers so that they can go ahead and get the amount of food and everything. Is that correct, Dave?
Yeah, yeah, and realistically, for anybody that's looking it up, if you go to Tailgreeter or if you see on any social media where a link is provided, I typically try to provide the link straight to like a KNP tailgate. So when you first go in, it's like to find a tailgate and stuff like that. It'll have like a regular search box. And if you type in Arizona Cardinals or KNP tailgate, I'm not sure. I know Troy used to be on here with Tailgate Warriors. I'm not sure that he is still, but yeah, it's a service where once you do it, once you show up, what we usually have, just so everybody knows, is there's a QR code on like a Scantron, like a little bit of a printout across the tailgate. Anybody that scans that QR code, you can use your credit card, you can use different apps of pay apps. That goes straight to our donation fund. And all of that money, they tab it up during the week. And usually by like Wednesday, Thursday, they give me it goes through Stripe, like it's all protected payment. Everything's, encrypted, all that stuff. But once you go through that, it goes straight into our donation fund. And by probably tomorrow morning, because I just got all like the finals of some more, I send the note right to PCH per KMP tailgate. Most of that because I want to make sure the donation fund dollar for dollar. I like to make sure my taxes are right. So you make sure that all of that stuff goes through, and it's a really simple QR code, or you can do it on the Tailgreeter site. They have like a donation like radio box you can just click, and that'll click you into donate to if you want to do it that route. And I say all that to say we also tell everybody there's no need to donate at all. Some people will bring like a 6-12 pack of the beer they like to drink or nothing at all. Doesn't really matter. Everybody that comes by, plenty of food. We got 3 to 4 big screens that are showing all the different games. We got a full bar area. This guy Keith, he's one of our main members. He's got his jacket. He runs the full bar. Out of those 20 tents, it's always a good time, and everybody's welcome.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. We're excited.
Nice.
We can't wait. So we're gonna see what it's all about. We're gonna film it. We're gonna show everyone. We're gonna kind of go in behind the scenes. So. Other than that, man, I think that does it, right, Chris, for this episode?
Yeah, that wraps it up, man. Rise up, RedSea.
Rise up, RedSea. Let's go, Cardinals. Let's get that dub.
Let's go, Cards.
Woo!
Cheers, guys.
Go Cards.
Unite the fans on this wild ride. Trading cards, yeah, your story stays. Arizona strong in a million ways. Every fan got a fight to tell. From the heartbreaks to the swell. Season's done, but you're never gone. Your card lives on, keep the fire strong. RedSea Brothers bringing the pride. Unite the fans on this wild ride. Trading cards, yeah, your story stays. Arizona strong in a million ways. Wow.